Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, happy Wine Wednesday. Today we talk Chardonnay, we talk Da Silva, vineyards and winery on the Naramata Bench, and much more. Stay with us.
Hey,
Happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine Wednesday. Happy Wine Wednesday. You know, right out of the bat, I got ideas. We sit down having wine, I get ideas. I mean, you know how you watch the breaking news? What if there was like breaking news for Canadian wine, you know, all the new releases of the week, all the, rapid fire, all the exciting things happening across the country. Well, that's what we're here for.
There you go, boy. Here you are. You got your news, your wine news outlet. Welcome to Carl's Wine Club. Happy Wine Wednesday. Woo-hoo! You guys are in. Mira Boucher, how are you doing today?
Great. You know what? We're in the Okanagan. We had a little cool down the last few days. But then Carl goes out to a winery and they're like, oh, wait, don't go. All our peach trees in the vineyard and plum trees are ripe to pick. So they go pick some fresh peaches for us. How nice is that? It's pretty amazing.
That's the Okanagan in a nutshell. There you go. Pack a few boxes of wine, get some Chardonnay samples, come back, get a nice juicy peach. This is juicy. This is fucking delicious. Oh my God. From the Da Silva vineyard, from the Hidden Hollow vineyard, okay? So we're looking at the wine of the summer. A 93-point Chenin Blanc absolutely blew my mind last week. Freshly released, and this is from the same freaking vineyard.
That is so cool.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop because I'm going to start drooling all over the place. But yeah, wow, what a great afternoon. I'll tell you one thing. We're just packing some orders from for you guys, for all across the country. Some orders going to Nova Scotia. Some orders are going to the Gulf Island in Vancouver. We had some from to Winnipeg, all over Ontario. So this is a Da Silva week. An incredible, a freaking amazing selection this week. Listen, we know for years that Da Silva has a fantastic lineup. And I think that you guys knew that, like, okay, you learned from towards the years that we're a big fan of Da Silva. Okay, fair. Not only me, because if you look at the other reviews and like Anthony Gismondi, like people in the wine business know that Richard Da Silva freaking produce world-class wine. We are a big fan, but not only us, you, the wine club members all over the country, voted Da Silva the winery of the year, the members' choice winery of the year this year. So we've decided on the fly a couple of weeks ago that Richard is like, you know what? I think I need to give you something special. I said, okay. And right out of the, like in my head, I'm thinking Chardonnay. I'm thinking special wine. I'm thinking new releases. I'll say, okay, if you want to do something special, I need the Legado Chardonnay 2021 available because it's not available yet. It's not been released. So I'm like, okay, I want that. He's like, yeah, sure. I said, you know what? I retasted the Syrah Malbec 2020 a week ago. And it was so good. I said, I need that. He said, Carl, it's only for our wine club members. I said, yeah, you want to do something special? I would love that. He said, okay. I said, yeah, how about the Bronco 2022 as a pre-release? He's like, okay, fine. The Cor de Rosa, that made it to our top 5 rosé of the year, pre-release. Okay. So after all of these pre-release and wines not available anywhere, he's like, I was not talking about wines. I was talking about shipping rate. Oh, okay. But he said, now you burned all of your points on new wines. I'm like, oh, come on, you can't do that to me. So he's like, yeah, I was thinking $10, $10 flat fees for everywhere in the country. Huh?
That's
What?
pretty spectacular.
So we put that offer on the fly. And this is one of the most spectacular BC offer we've done all year. And no disrespect to all of other wineries that we've featured this year. Like, come on, like we featured some amazing product, but this one has something special. And on top of it, this wine, who's going to be featured at the Pan-Canadian Masterclass. So this wine will be the Nirmata Bench representative at our really unique and exclusive Pan-Canadian Masterclass in Niagara. So the 2022 Hidden Hollow Chenin Blanc, who I need to taste the Quail's Gate Chenin Blanc. Because
right, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't, but for so far, it's the best Chenin Blanc that I've tasted.
Yeah.
From this country. It's just like absolutely amazing. I'm looking at my desk here. There is a big like puddle of peach juice. Like this peach is just juicing out of my. Look at that. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah. Dripping everywhere. Okanagan. Now. I was really good with the Sauvignon Blanc actually. Now I get what you mean by ripe, like stone fruit.
Yeah. Hey, isn't it?
Totally get that. Yes, like
and this SB, it's not that classic grapefruit. Jesus Christ, I'm dripping over. It's not that classic New Zealand style Sauvignon Blanc. There's a little bit more of these stone fruit in there. It's matched very well. I can connect that very, very well. So what we have here, it's a Sauvignon Blanc that I cracked a couple of weeks ago, maybe 5 days ago. It's from Mouchedray. So from the Lake Erie North Shore appellation in Ontario, this is their Sauvignon Blanc. I believe it's a $19 wines or something like that. I mean,
solid. The
absolutely
finish has
solid
fruits. It's got this like succulent finish. I love it. Hey, under screw cap on a summer day, it's freaking glorious.
Yeah, just to start with what we have for reds, we have 2 big reds following before we go pick up a kid on the boat, right? So that's the Okanagan Life Orchard Peach, 3 amazing wines, and we're here live talking about one of our freaking favorite producer in the whole Okanagan. He's not here today. He can't be here because he's somewhere in Europe. They went to the Loire Valley to see what he can do more with his Chenin Blanc. So we're featuring this week is Hidden Hollow, is in the Loire Valley, in the motherland of the Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc. So he's there chatting with other producers and growers. So and we are here featuring his wines. But what made that Chenin Blanc so special? Listen, there's a few different, very, very specific aspects why I absolutely lost my mind on that wine.
Me too.
I know. And I thought maybe I had a little like, I don't know, sometimes I go crazy on something and I have to calm down. But I was seeing also your excitement and your body language got was ramping up. And I'm like, geez, I'm not the only one, right? I'm not the only, she's freaking loving it too.
It's really good.
So the first night I rated that wine 92 plus point because of the brightness, the freshness, the explosion. It's just like the citrus absolutely explode, but the definition of flavor. These flavors were so bright and so precise. I was like, oh my God, it's incredible. there was a length in that wine and an evolution from the rush of flavor followed by the lingering, a floral note in the middle. In terms of the tasting aspect, it was very impressive. The length was never ending. But where it took everything over the top, and I got so excited that I texted about it and I rated it right away. And I always taste the wine over 2-day period, right? When I tasted it the morning after, because Mira stayed up late that night doing some other thing. I went to bed a little early, so I woke up at 5. And by 5:30, I was already back on that Chenin Blanc, tasting it for the sip, like to see how it evolved overnight. That's called excitement, right? When it's 5:30 a.m. and you open the wine that you opened because you want to see, you're so excited. So anyway, with fresh palate, can it be fresher than 5:30 a.m. before my first coffee of the day? That wine had evolved, got creamier, got texture, and got even more complex. I was like, how the shit is that possible? So anyway, I was so impressed that I crank it up another half point, and it's at 93 points. That's my wine of the summer, single vineyard Chenin Blanc, and here we are. So we have that. It's just coming out on the shelf. Like they just poured it out this week for the tasting room, and it's out. So get to it because it is a freaking fantastic wine. Yeah. So what is your story with that Chenin Blanc? Tell me why you liked it so much.
The flavors are just so succulent, but it's an experience. You know, like sometimes you get a wine that, like in white wines, I find, especially Canadian whites, I find you can sometimes find these wines that are just like thirst quenching, you know, lots of flavors going on. They're delicious. But this one had this extra layer of complexity without being like heavy in any way. It's not like I'm like, oh, now I need to go and sit and think about this for half an hour. It's just, it's more of an experience than most white wines are. I don't know.
And funny enough, because I like to talk to winemaker a lot about vintage, like typicity, like what the 2021 offer. But I realize over a couple of years now that 2021, because of the heat dome flavors, like the growing season got very different. It was harder to manage sugar level. We were used to get a little higher alcohol, some sweeter wine, this and that. Anyway, at 2022, I was talking with Rob Hammersley, friend of the show, really good friend, and amazing winemaker. And he was telling me like early on with the 2022 in barrels, in tank, that to be aware that the 2022 are going to have some like very, very explosive flavor, especially for white, that the white wines are going to be very expressive. And okay, so I always like keep these things in mind. And Richard de Silva told me the same thing. I would say probably in the span of 2 weeks, like these two guys were not farming the same area, like maybe like 40 minutes difference. Like they're telling me the same type of thing.
So this is a thing, just like 2019 in the Okanagan was a thing for reds, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly, right? Some balance. And so anyway.
22 seems to be a thing for really succulent whites, eh?
Yeah, and when that before Richard bottled that Sauvignon Blanc, that Chenin Blanc, he told me, Carl, it might be the white, one of the white that I made that I'm the most happy with.
So is that what we were tasting in tank that day, or was it was that?
That was I believe that it was the Legato.
Okay, I feel like we did both in tank, but this particular one was Legato. Okay.
I believe so. Is there any volume in that so I can meet?
Oh my God, that's so nice.
Well, there's a certain florality in there.
So we're going to be converting a bunch of this here, the Riesling, out to more Chenin Blanc.
So that's the Chenin Blanc. That's the wine club members picked that, right, on Saturday? Yeah.
And it's like singy, but
the straight line of acid in there.
Cool, eh?
Oh, that's cool. Oh, again, this is pure. Super pure. There's a purity of fruit in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, that's good.
All that little crust.
Wow. That one over there.
1968.
1968.
It's paid by them. It's paid for.
Only anything got that, so. Right on, brother. See you guys.
So,
Yeah, so that
that's the
was the
Chenin
Chenin
Blanc. That was the Chenin that we were
And it was,
tasting.
like, super juicy and succulent right then, and they had just picked it the week before.
That was the first press. It was not, the alcohol was not up. And you hear what I said? The acid is straight. And you look after that, like a year later.
Like a fresh peach, yeah?
And that's exactly what it is. That's crazy. I'm so glad that we got that on camera. That's freaking cool.
You know what else? I know what makes that Chenin Blanc so good from De Silva from that 2022 vintage. Sure, it's the vintage, but I'll tell you what else. The wine club members picked it. It's the first time they had their wine club members pick that wine or any wine for their harvest. So I'm telling you, these wine club members paid extra special care.
Absolutely. That is cool. I didn't thought of that either. But yeah, it's so cool that you get that that footage. Oh my God. I would like, we're describing wines right after pressing. It is really fucking cool.
Really cool. We're
okay. We'll post that. We'll post that tomorrow morning. Oh man, I love it. It is just so cool.
Yeah. Post that with your tasting notes now that it's a finished product. Or is it ever really a finished product when it comes to wine? Because you keep
and you know, especially for such a young release, and I saw the evolution overnight. So no, this is not a finished product. This is a bottled product, but it's not a finished product because I see, and I have to crank it up by half of a point because I was so impressed by the evolution overnight, more in a textural version, and it became more like lemon cream and an increase of finish. So yeah, anyway, if you want to discover, if you want to geek on something that it's not always available on the market, these kind of thing, and this is freaking good and so cool. So 93 points, Carl's Wine Club, one of Mira's favorite. And you know, I know that girl. I know her body language. I know as much as she knows when I get excited about a wine. I know when she gets excited too. And she really was excited about that wine as well. So yeah, one of our favorite. And there's not a whole lot available. So yeah, get to it because that's going to be gone pretty quick. So yeah, really cool to have that experience and seeing that footage from right after. So that's me. It was probably in November. And so yeah, from 7-8 months ago when they just did the first press. So that's pretty cool. Thanks for doing that.
Yes, amazing stuff.
I just wish I had more in my bottle. I might have to buy. Oh, you know what? Richard is not at the winery.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to buy a case very soon. That's one of those to buy. Because like you said, I think it's going to age really nicely for the next few years. Like I think, you don't normally think to age white wines like that, but yeah.
4 or 5 years. Chenin have a lot of potential. And especially with that level of acid.
Yeah. Acid
is structure. Acid is the backbone of a wine. If you have a wine with a beautiful acid, you know what? There's a good chance that wine's gonna last. So, and this wine is just hippiness. So yeah, this to me, it's incredible right now as a summer wine, as a new release, as excitement. But this wine's just gonna get, it's gonna change, gonna be a little different. But wow, I'm excited for the future of that wine. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, you.
What? Oh, yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I want to talk about the rest of the De Silva wines, and we have some really cool news to share about Chardonnays and various.
Yeah. So let's quickly finish the lineup, okay? So because
but
there's
I
one
wanted
more.
to ask you something. There was
Oh,
one
go
more.
ahead.
Something. But you were there recently. De Silva does this, don't they? Not many people know, hey?
Yeah, they sure do. You picked up that picture. Yeah, I was talking with Richard, and Richard was asking me if, and let me know. Okay, put that in the comments. Premium wine in the box. Is it something that you, as a members, as a consumer, as a Canadian wine lover, is it something that you would be interested in? I mean, it's what, 1.5? No, I think it's a 3-liter box. So we're talking 4 bottles of wine in a box of premium juice. We're talking of a Merlot Malbec here, made by Richard De Silva from the exact same vineyard than the bottle of Merlot that we have here. The same Malbec that it's blended with the Syrah. So, I mean, is it something intriguing? I think this is something, Mira, that we should put a poll on our social media to see what's the interest. Because you know what? Richard is willing to box some stuff for us because he has some terrific juice in tank right now. And yeah, we didn't do a Carl's Wine Club members wine this year. That can be something that we can think about. Is there any interest out there? Anyone would be interested to have a 3-liter box? We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Personally, you know, this is like the kind of thing I think of for summer. Daryl says, "Niet, comrade." We like bottles. I like bottles.
See?
There's a romance to it. At the same time, I don't know how long would like a box of rosé last in your fridge in the summer. Like, let's say you're pouring out of it. Like, does it last a few weeks? Longer than a bottle, right?
For sure, because okay, why your wine age quickly when the bottle is open is because of the oxygen who touched the juice. It oxidized the wine, right?
So to me, this
in the box, it's inside the box. It's in a bag.
Yeah,
and so it's air free. It's air free because when the juice comes out, the bag shrink, right?
Because I'm with Johanna and Daryl. Like, at first instinct, I'm like, are you kidding me? Next thing you know, these people are going to be drinking wine out of plastic cups or something. But there's too much to the romance of glass bottles and all this. But at the same time, I get it. Like, if you're entertaining a lot in the summer, if you live in the Okanagan and half the country comes and visits you all summer long, which we love, by the way, then it can be handy to have just like a starter wine in the fridge, you know, in a box that you don't have to, you know, if it's just one person that drops by, well, here's a glass of wine. If it's, you know, 10 people, well, let's pull the box out and just pour it all out. So it can be handy like that.
I mean, I never discount some ideas like that, especially coming from a terrific producer. So at the end of the day, wine's made in the vineyard. If the grapes are well grown, if the juice is good, why not? Do I say
more and more of the premium producers getting on this bandwagon of the canned wines, the boxed wines? It's interesting, and I don't completely write it off. Like, I do prefer the bottles, but I can see a time and place for some of these alternative packaging, especially if you know that the juice is good. That's the problem, is that the early adopters have been people who don't put good juice in those.
That's a problem, right? Perception, right out of the gate. People butchered the canned product for a while at the very beginning. People butchered the juice in the boxes. So anyway, I'm not trying to feed anything, any project in people's down throws, but I don't know, just an idea.
No.
Anyway, because I really want to talk about the I really like to talk about the Syrah Malbec.
Oh yes.
Because you and me have been geeking out on that wine for a couple nights, for 3-4 nights now. You know? So this wine,
we really enjoyed that one.
Absolutely, absolutely. I tasted that wine last year in the fall. I liked it. I wasn't crazy about it. I thought it was a little too oaky.
Yeah,
Um,
and actually, when you said maybe we should feature that again, I was kind of like, are you sure? Remember, we tasted in the fall, and it was not super standout in the fall. And
yeah,
then we tasted it a couple weeks ago, and we're like, wow, it has progressed like you wouldn't believe.
it has evolved. It had, I would say, not progress. I was improved for better. With like really like yeah, everything came together. Holy moly, that wine is a great summer red. This is cream barbecue, the char, the grill, the little smoky, the barbecue sauce, all of that absolutely screamed that wine. What a great wine. 45, 55. So 55% Syrah, 45, sorry about 45% Malbec from vineyard down south. So we have an Oliver vineyard and a Soyuz vineyard. So yeah, I love it. 50-50 American and French oak. The spice of that wine, you know, you have 50% Syrah, 55% Syrah. There's a kick of cracked pepper at the end. The Malbec brings some blue fruits. This is I love it. I really, really enjoyed it. So, and this is not available. You can go on their website to buy that wine. You can go on any government liquor store. No, you can't, because this is a wine club members exclusive. And
Yeah,
we're happy.
if there's a wine club I like, I think the Silva is one. I think there's some really cool things you can do with that wine club, like picking the Chenin Blanc if you're local. And I know that this year they're planning another harvest party to pick a different varietal this time. So very exciting. They also do this, which is pretty cool. Hey,
Absolutely.
There's many wineries in the Okanagan, even top premium wineries, and they'll give you one glass and you just pour it out and they keep pouring in the same glass. You know, I get it. You don't want to be washing 50 glasses every time someone wants to taste a few wines. But the Silva, I think, takes it to the next level. They've got not just a different glass for every wine, but they've got varietal specific glassware, which makes a difference, I think.
Well, you know, it's about what you try to accomplish with your experience and your attention to details. I'm not saying that if you don't use varietal specific wine glassware that you're not attentive to detail. That's not what I mean, because there's the very few winery who does that. But Richard, as the farmer that he is, and the attention that he put in every single details, well, put that same reflection in the tasting room. And yeah, it's an experience on its own. Visiting now the new Legato room that they just built.
Oh, next time we're there, we'll get some footage of it for you guys. Yes.
So
we
yeah,
a few months ago when it was just under renovation. So.
Well, just to finish the that segment on the Silva, listen, outstanding wine. One of the best I know where I'm going to say it exactly there. The one of the best farmer in the Okanagan. Some of the best wine club, the tasting room, but they also have the one of the best, or to my opinion, to Mira's opinion, the best restaurant in the Okanagan. The kitchen at De Silva is something out of this world. The experience, it's a former Michelin star. It's a Michelin star type of chef. Abul is incredible. They do tapas style meal where you just say to the server, feed me, and they're going to bring you multiple courses of Portuguese style of food with a little bit of a Mexican influence, with a European touch, a style of cuisine that you don't see a whole lot out there, and the flavors are incredible.
Yeah, I wanted to show you guys, if you're ordering these De Silva wines this week. We'll throw in at least one of these cool little recipe cards from Chef Abul at the kitchen.
Yeah.
Piri piri chicken. All right. And then like this one looks freaking delicious. Portuguese allspice.
Which one?
It's called Portuguese allspice, roasted churrasco and potatoes.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the bravado potatoes that the Spanish really likes. That yeah, really cool, super tasty food. The service, like they don't leave any details. Like Chef Abul is a Michelin star, so obviously they're like, you don't get there, you don't custom your meal. Like it's so funny, and I challenge everyone to read the rules on the menu. It is freaking hilarious. Chef Abul basically tell you that if you're in the rush, get the fuck out of here and go to McDonald's. If you don't like my food, I don't really care. Someone else gonna come.
He says it with a little bit more grace. But one of the things I find hilarious is if you can't eat bread, I feel really sorry for you, because part of the best part of the meal is sopping up all the sauces with the bread. So he's that kind of guy. And you know what? Some of you might not know, Carl comes from a hospitality background for like almost 30 years and opened some of the top restaurants in the country, some of the most high caliber kind of places. I once went to his restaurant and had a 12-course meal. And I felt lighter when I left than when I got there. Like it was a gastronomic experience. And that chef ended up.
That's when we started dating.
Yes. And that chef ended up going to LA working with like a 2 Michelin star, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
his stuff when it comes to restaurants, almost to a fault, because we can't go to a freaking restaurant without him dissecting every single bit of their operations. And we always get the wobbly table.
It's always start my experience in a bad fucking note.
Always. Doesn't matter how nice the restaurant is, how new their tables are, how straight their floors are. The wobbly table always finds Carl's Boucher at any restaurant.
And that's the trigger, right? And I'm like, okay, watch me.
I don't think you've had a wobbly table. So I'm telling you, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to restaurants. This one is world class. Unassuming. You might not know this. If you don't hear this from us, you might not realize it if you just drive by there. But it is to go.
So, okay, let's recap quickly. We also have in that pack, where are you here? The brand new 2021 Legato Chardonnay, who I rated. So last year but this year, from last year to 1,200 wine tasted, the 2016 Legato Chardonnay was my number 2 wine of the year. Is that my number 3? Number 2? Anyway.
Legato was
number 2.
Or the wines of the year. I'll put the
so this is the new version, the 2021. When we tasted it, first we said my words were, this wine has more potential than the 2016. I was not joking. We're seeing that from now. The floor points, it's 94. The peak point is 96 points. So this wine, I can't wait to taste that among the other 60 Canadian Chardonnay next week. I am so curious to see. I know that's going to finish in the top 5. Whereabout, I'm really curious. So this is the brand new one, not available anywhere. The 2021 Legato Chardonnay. You know me, you know how.
The 16 was your number 1 wine from BC. It was number 3 in Canada for last year.
Number 3 in Canada after the Rennie and the Batchelder, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this is available, that 2021. Not available anywhere else. So this is in the pack. We have the 2019 Legato Pinot Noir that may get 92 plus. That's Syrah Malbec, a Merlot, a Pinot. The Corderosa, number 5th Rosé of the Rosé Marathon, We had 57 rosés from all over the country. Yes, 57. If you missed that, that's what we do, right? We tasted 57 rosés, all side by side, live, available to watch. This was our number 5th wine rated that day. It's not available, not anywhere, just in that pack. So if you want some craziness this week, it's that with $10 shipping. So I don't know what to tell you more. I think, yeah.
Shipping is a big deal. This is a big deal, especially for De Silva, a smaller winery who I don't think has ever done this before. So
No. At the very beginning, when I was talking to Richard a year and a half or 2 years ago, Richard wanted to charge me $50 to send a box to Quebec.
Which
and
is
he was
probably
stuck on the idea, saying that I'm not gonna do less than that.
Which
and
is
now
like he probably pays more. Just for those that don't know, he gets
yeah.
by the shipping companies. But I think we have helped Richard understand the value of connecting directly with the Canadian wine lovers.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at this week. Carl's Wine Club with De Silva, an incredible pack available. So we're excited. I hope you are as excited that as we are.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I need to say one more thing, okay? Because I got to hang out with Richard for a minute while we went for this.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Please.
So what I need to say is, when you walk through a vineyard on a hot summer day, there is something spiritual about it. It is absolutely amazing. And this vineyard where we are right there in the footage, that is the Hidden Hollow vineyard where the Chenin Blanc comes from. We're actually checking out the Chenin Blanc vines. And there's like quartz in the dust there. So you can't see it on film. It's a shame, but it looks like there's diamonds everywhere. It is spectacular. So if you have not had the chance to walk through a vineyard on a sunny day like this, come and visit with us. So this is one of the things we wanted to mention. We have September 16th secured as a date where we're going to be doing a vineyard tour with Richard De Silva, with Twyla De Silva, and members, right? So what's that like, Carl? Like, we're going to be walking through.
It's more than a vineyard tour. It's a vineyard tasting. That's even cooler. So what we're going to... That Hidden Hollow vineyard, that very vineyard that you're seeing here, they grow 4 different varietals. We're going to go through these all. We're going to taste the previous vintage in the vineyard, tasting the grapes in the vine, hanging in the vines. So if you're looking for something cool, this is freaking cool. Mike Laplante, or average wine enthusiast, and a few other people joined me last year at the Aaron Pond Benchland Vineyard on the Beamsville Bench in Ontario with Graham Rennie, owner of Rennie. And we did the same thing, tasting his Chardonnay from the previous vintage, tasting the grapes from the vines. And the connection is absolutely incredible. Now we're going to take that to the next level. We're going to do it with 4 vines and 4 blocks, with 4 grapes, 4 wines, in 4 different blocks with small IPs in the vineyard. So that's going to be pretty darn cool. Can you please play?
It's kind of like what we did tasting that Chenin Blanc right after it was pressed. Like, you could still taste the grape juice and you can see how it translated to the wine, and you'll be able to do it side by side. Like, here's the grape, here's the wine from the last vintage that we did, right? Super.
Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, if there's anything ready to pick that day, we might do a little bit of harvest as well
that morning as an optional sort of add-on. So yes, if you're thinking of stopping by the Okanagan, September 16th is the day to do it. It's the weekend to do it. If you're here, we will be having a blast that Saturday. And yeah, we can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So do you want to play one of these videos, the 47 something second video from Richard?
Yeah, so this is the last thing we want to say for now about De Silva, which is that we chose them and that Chenin Blanc we've been raving about to be in the Pan-Canadian Masterclass that's happening in Niagara in just
August 18th.
August 18th. There's still some spots left. We're so excited for it. This is Richard's message, eh?
Hello, my name is Richard De Silva, and this is our Hidden Hollow Vineyard in Naramata Bench. We're looking and we're currently walking in our Chenin Blanc block. It's our block number 8. And this is what we proudly farm here, which is an acre, 0.2 of Chenin Blanc, grown in a Geneva double curtain. And it's kind of unique. Not very many people grow this way, but you can see we've got some great fruit exposure to the sunlight. And yeah, really unique site. The sand and the soil here is a lot of quartz-based sand. And it's an old beach of an old out-like.
And the phone call came in as busy as a winemaker is. So it was a lot of fun chatting with him. And we're so excited to have him at the Pan-Canadian wine tasting next month. Have you told anybody yet what else is happening with that Pan-Canadian wine tasting in terms of a certain 11?
Well, yeah, so there's now a mysterious wine who's been added to the lineup. Because who we are and because we love crazy things. Like when we do a Chardonnay tasting, we don't do 5 or 10 Chardonnay, we do 60 of them. Tune in next week. But with the Pan-Canadian Masterclass, the concept was to have 10 wines, as many guests, special guests as possible. So now we have people flying in from BC to be guests, apparently to be special guests. It's going to be amazing. But we tasted a pretty cool wine a couple weeks ago at the Rosé Marathon, coming from a guy who started his career in Ontario, and that is a very established farm here on the Naramata Bench. So anyway, we've decided to add an extra wine to the to the lineup. So because we didn't have a first wine to pour when people arrive, we have selected a new welcome pour, and this is going to be, I don't know, should I mention what it is or should I keep it secret and mysterious until the last minute?
No, I think you need to mention it. Okay, so whoever's here tuning in on Facebook, on YouTube, you guys are in on the secret. So at the Rosé Marathon a couple weeks ago, we tasted almost 60 rosés live, and one of them was a first in the country, the first ever rosé from this varietal. And it hadn't been bottled yet. It had no label yet. And it was pretty spectacular. It was really good. And it was a what varietal, Carl?
So I talked to a few people in Ontario, and people were like, you better bring some of this wine to Ontario. We want to try it. So we're talking about the rosé of Montepulciano. People would say, what are you talking about? Yes. We have one guy in the country who grows Montepulciano grapes. A block and a half or an acre and a half, if I'm correct. It might be a little bit more. I think it's an acre and a half or 2 acres. No, it's not more than an acre and a half.
Yeah.
Of Montepulciano grapes. I believe that the vines are now 5 years old or 4-year-old. I'm not sure. We're going to have that guy telling me all of the thing. But anyway.
Yes.
You know what? I'm getting suspicious. Anyway, okay.
No. It's good.
So yeah. Sorry, it takes me off my game here.
You're good.
So yeah. Montepulciano Rosé from Sal D'Angelo. Sal's a legend. Sal is a guy, is a farmer through and through. He's a guy with all of the knowledge in the world. I have a boatload of respect for Sal D'Angelo. And I love what he does. I love his way, his way that he farms. I love his integrity. I love his passion. Anyway, talking with the old man is like opening an encyclopedia. Like plain and simple. So anyway, I got that sample of Montepulciano Rosé, and I did not have any expectation. And wow, I was absolutely blown away. And guess what? There's some red in barrel right now, sitting in barrel, waiting to be bottled next year. So people who are geek about wine are getting pretty crazy and interested about what the heck that Sal is doing with Montepulciano. Where did he get his grape from? Oh, you know what? Just a Sal is Sal. He didn't wait for anyone else to give him grapes. He planted freaking 1.5 acres of Montepulciano grapes. And guess what? Because he thought it was not going to be enough, he just planted another block of it with baby vines that I walked in that baby block, like just brand new planted this week. So just because I wanted to go check. And anyway, so he agreed to send a box of Montepulciano Rosé to Ontario so we can welcome our guests with D'Angelo Montepulciano Rosé for the Pan-Canadian Masterclass. So now the news is out. The world knows. There's nothing mysterious anymore. We had another wine number 11 to the lineup. Now, according to Marcel Morgenstern, he told me to still looking for other cool stuff. So I'm not sure if it's going to end with 11 wines or how many freaking wines we're going to have at that masterclass. But yeah. And talking about addition, according to Richard De Silva, he's probably going to hop on the plane and be there as well. So anyway,
That's very exciting.
so if that also happened, you guys who are there better freaking buckle your seatbelt. It's gonna rock something pretty crazy. If you don't have your ticket yet, get on it, because I'm telling you, people are going to talk about August 18, 2023 for a very long time. This is going to be something else. So yeah, so that's about the masterclass. The new edition is Montepulciano Rosé as a welcome little beverage before we start with our wine number one, which is going to be the Tidal Bay 2022 from Domaine de Grand Pré in Nova Scotia, Gaspero, in Annapolis Valley. So yeah, so that's for the breaking news.
Very
How's
exciting.
that?
And
Isn't
in
it?
other news, we have more BC events coming your way in terms of master classes. These small events for super passionate Canadian wine lovers or wine lovers who want to discover all that Canada has to offer. So for our Chardonnay Marathon, for the first time ever, we're going to have some backstage tickets. If you're in the Okanagan on August 6th, when we're tasting those 60 Chardonnays, guess what? You can be part of the backstage and taste with us. There's only like a small handful of seats right here by the lake in Summerland, BC. And that's where we'll be broadcasting from. So you'll hear Carl's commentary with no lag whatsoever. And you'll get to taste exactly what we're tasting. So it's a pretty cool experience. We're going to do that with Chardonnay, with Pinot Noir, with Cab Sauv. And speaking of Cab Sauv, on YouTube, love when YouTube people just stop by. Maria is asking, what's your favorite Cab Sauv? So we tasted quite a few Cab Sauvs last year. You cannot do a marathon with Cab Sauvs the way you can with Chardonnay. If you taste 60 Cab Sauvs, your mouth is going to like fall off.
I know, I can't do that. Like last time we did what, 25, and it was plenty. It was tapping out. So we'll try to extend to around 30 to see if we can make it. Maria, I'm curious, where are you joining from? And what's in your glass tonight, Maria?
Yes, if you're in Canada, cheers. And if you're not, oh my gosh, you have to discover Canadian wines. So what was our top Canadian Cab Sauv a couple years ago when we did the Cab Sauv marathon? It was dun, da, da, da. Carl needs to spit and tell us.
Ice Cellar. Ice Cellar from Niagara-on-the-Lake on the 4 Mile Creek appellation was my very top Cabernet Sauvignon of my last marathon. I also have a very soft spot for Bellaterra Cabernet Sauvignon as well from the 2020 vintage. If you move to British Columbia, there's a really, really, really great selection of Cab Sauv down here, starting with the original vines, Mount Boucherie, who's going to be poured at the masterclass, at the Pan-Canadian Masterclass on the August 18th. So Mount Boucherie original vines is one of a great Cab Sauv. Lakeside Cellar produced a great affordable Cab Sauv. We've tasted lately some of the Cab Sauv barrel at Hester Creek, who helps make it to the Garland and the Judge. Also, who else produced fantastic Cab Sauv? Fairview Cellar. Painted Rock makes some fantastic Cab Sauv. So we have lots of great Cabernet Sauvignon producer here in Canada. There you go, Maria. Thanks for
at the Pan-Canadian one, we're showcasing the Cab Sauv from BC from Mount Boucherie, right?
Sure will.
Yeah,
exactly what we're
out in Ontario, Maria. Ice Cellars, that's my favorite Cab Sauv at the moment. Ice Cellars in Ontario, they're in Niagara. Really spectacular.
Niagara on the Lake, Fulmont Creek appellation. So I would believe it's Concession Road number 8, if I believe correctly, if I remember correctly.
I'm not familiar with Australian Cab Sauv. I have to say, I started drinking wine during the pandemic, but this guy here has incredible decades of experience with international wine. So what's Australian Cab Sauv like compared to Canadian?
I mean, they're bigger, bolder, juicier, with more higher alcohol level. There's it's a much warmer climate. So, I mean, they have more consistency that we have because they have the length and they have the heat unit to produce Cab Sauv year in and year out. But now they so they're just producing more. There's great producer actually, but I'm not a big fan of wine with high level of acidity. So sometimes Australian wine will have they're a little bit more flabby, a little bit higher alcohol, where I'm not a super fan. But like every single wine region, you have the top producer who makes stuff fantastic. But don't ask me to drink the what's the name? I would say the yellowtail and all of these big Australian producer where they produce millions of liters of Cab Sauv. No, I'm not a fan at all. I like our micro producer with more finesse. And so I have already spent way too much time on Cabernet Sauvignon. It's not my plan tonight. It's not on the lineup. So sorry about that.
We're going to do the marathon.
Yeah. So start. Go ahead.
So with this Chardonnay marathon coming up, backstage pass is possible if you're in the Okanagan. What else do we need to know? Because we are going to have Black Market there, but Black Market has never done a Chardonnay, have they? You did something pretty special earlier today.
They haven't released a Chardonnay yet, but yes, they have a Chardonnay in barrel. Yes, we have been monitoring the Chardonnay the progress at Black Market, the evolution of the first 2022 Chardonnay Black Market is evolving. It's now in barrel. It went from the tank to a new barrel to neutral barrel. And we are just monitoring the progress. And today we had the chance to taste 10 different versions of what Chardonnay can be with different toast and different oak profile from a oak barrel supplier, one of Rob's supplier, and they have a new concept where they bring you little a slate of oak that you put in your sample. and over 14 days, it gives you that. It gives you the whole profile on what this barrel can give you. So we tasted 10 different versions today. It was pretty darn cool, and the result was cool because we had 10 samples. I took some notes, and Rob and I, like 3 of the 4 were we had out of the top 3. We had 2 of the same 1, 2, and 1 like they were pretty much the same results. So yeah, super cool thing that we've done this morning, Rob and I. And last week I tasted now the almost a year iteration of his Chardonnay since pressing, because we stumped the grape with him last year. We helped the press. Now the wine is going is in barrel, and we tasted the blend with the new oak and the neutral oak, and the wine is going into the very nice direction. So probably at the Chardonnay Marathon, we're gonna have a tank sample of that Chardonnay, just to put that into the lineup, and have a little palate cleanser in between all of these world-class Chardonnay, because we had confirmation. We already have more of the wine arrived here. We're at 40 plus. With the 3 that we got today, we're at just over 40, and there's another 20 on the road right now, coming from all over the country. We have Chardonnay Bubbles from the Beamsville bench, like this Blanc de Blanc estate from Cave Spring. We have Chardonnay from Kamloops. This is Monte Creek from Kamloops, just won gold medal. See, you can see it, gold medal. We have Chardonnay small lot from Nova Scotia that we're gonna open. Chardonnay from some of our favorite, like Bella Terra, is gonna be in. We have Chardonnay from some of the top producer in the world, like Batchelder. Like there's 3 or 4 Batchelder's bottle coming in. Le Clos Jordan is coming in. Domaine Calus is coming in. We have some of the new release from Leaning Post. What?
Have you heard back from Quail's Gate?
No, I haven't heard back from Quail's Gate. And if anyone knows anyone to reach out, who can I reach at Quail's Gate to talk to someone, for God's sake? I would love to, but no answer from Quail's Gate yet. But here in BC, I have Montboucherie, I have Rust, we have Painted Rock, we have hopefully Corselet. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, the Silva. We have Moraine. I haven't heard from Deep Roots, who just won platinum. I hope that Deep Roots will get back to me. So yeah. So yeah, a lot going on with the Chard. So we're gonna have just over 60 here. So if you're in the Okanagan, you want a backstage pass to be part of that, let me know. It's going to be rocking. So Rob Amersley, owner of Black Market, is going to be on site helping me with pouring the wines and all that for all of our guests. So I was talking to Rob this morning, and he's really into that. So it's going to be a fun day. Next week, Chardonnay Marathon. So yeah, here we are. It's almost 6:10. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, lots of fun. So glad you guys stopped by. Hope you're having a great Wine Wednesday. I'm really excited to try more of these little reds we got here. What did I have in my glass again?
So in your Gabriel glass, the one that you have on your right hand, it's the Merlot from
the Silva.
From the Silva, the 2020 Merlot. Here, and the other one, it's a new project here in the Okanagan at the Wine Village. This is.
Oh, that's the other one.
That's the Valley Common. So a new project, something pretty cool. This is their Garden Society 2020 vintage, a blend of Merlot, Malbec, Cabernet Franc, and Petit Verdot. So yeah, a big and full. This is grippy. And they made, like, I already tasted one of their rosy bubbly. I tasted their Pinot Gris. It was pretty freaking fantastic. So they have a nice lineup. Stay tuned. We might have a little surprise from them at the end of August. Now, this week, it's the Silva. And don't miss out. This is one of the most special pack we had. Some incredible wine, including our 94 to 96 points Chardonnay Legato, including the 93 points Chenin Blanc. Wine of the summer, including the Syrah Malbec as well at 91 plus. In 2 weeks, we are going to feature Domaine de Grand Pré. So
Yes.
People were asking to bring back some wine from Nova Scotia. We are featuring them again after a year and a half of a break. Now they're back on the lineup, so it's going to be really exciting to have some of Nova Scotia wine available in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and one last teaser for whoever's still with us celebrating Wine Wednesday. What's happening on Saturday is going to be historic. You're going to hear about it Saturday evening in this house right by the lake here in Summerland. Ourselves, the winemakers, and 20 members are going to be tasting 12 vintages of Canadian rosés, single vineyard, Pinot Noir rosés made by Daniel Bonterin, who we believe is the best rosé winemaker in the country, one of the best in the world. And for those that don't think you can age rosé, we tasted the 2013 already. It can age. We are so excited to try this. We have people traveling in from all over BC. Epic. And we're going to share all about it. And they've opened up their what's left of their amazing wines for a feature next week with you guys.
There you go. So Rosé Weekend with Daniel Bonterin here and another 20 members. It's going to be historic because it's never happened before. No one ever put together 12 years of rosé from the same producer, single vineyard, single varietals. So this one is not all from the same single vineyard. There's 2 single vineyards in there because Daniel started with the Kalala vineyards back in West Kelowna from the beginning, and he switched to the Summerland tractor and vines. So you see the evolution in colors from left to right, the evolution of oak and all of that. So it's going to be an epic tasting. I can't wait to do that with him. I feel privileged. And I'm so excited for that. So, yeah.
Woo! Well, it was fabulous to see you guys. Thank you for joining us in learning more about Canadian wines and all the best, all the newest, all the best stuff out there. So, hope you have
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, all of you guys all around the country. Thanks for tuning in. Mira Boucher, thank you very much.
Cheers, Carl Boucher.